All right, good morning, everyone. It's about 8:40 Sunday morning on the 24th, I think it is. Let's see here. Yep, 24th of September. Back to continue with work on the floor area and the sill area. Yeah, that's really about it for an introduction. I'm also going to try to tackle the front of the A-post here. And I think what I'm going to do is do it in sections. So I'll take it to about here or so, somewhere in there, replace that, and then take this little section here a little bit and attack that. Again, still not completely sure what I'm going to do there. The brainstorming over since the last visit really didn't help me at all, but we'll see what goes on. But other than that, I got to leave on the early side this morning or today for a soccer game, so I'll be leaving here at about 2:30 or so. So that gives me a solid, 5 hours of time to get over here to work, 6 hours or so. Also, on a kind of slightly different note, I'm happy to say that I have my own website now with my own dedicated .com address, and I'm going to start shifting all of the blog and everything else over to that. So I'll maintain parallel posts for a little while in my current blog, and I'll keep my YouTube channel. But if you have visited the blog or would like to, you can go to www.roundtailrestoration.com. It's all one word. I'll put a link in the description. But it's going to be all sorts of stuff there, more than just my my restoration stuff. I've already got some links and everything of parts, places, and other websites that I've used in the past. Some related specifically to the Spitfire, some related to Triumphs, and some just related to cars in general. But please visit if you care to. There's a contact section in there. I got my own email address, which is kind of interesting, kind of exciting in a geeky sort of way. But feel free to contact if you find anything that's broken or whatever. I'd appreciate any feedback you have. But that's obviously a work in progress. It's not that slick or fancy right now, but we'll see what we can do. So moving on, and I'll check back in later. All right, it's 9:52. Update here. Kind of decided to go to town a little bit. So I cut this piece out where the cancer was and left that. That's that guy right there. Cut the little piece out that was right here, like that. And then instead of leaving this alone or trying to come up with a better solution or get a hammer in there, you can see that there's really no room in there to get a hammer. Even going in back, because there's no distance because of that stanchion back there. I decided to go ahead and just take that whole thing out. So I cut it with the grinding wheel, the air grinder, and I intend to straighten it up as best as that I can, and then just put it right back on and fill the gap in with weld bead and grind it smooth. So hopefully that works out. It's going to be a little tricky getting the grinder inside the divots here, or whatever you want to call it, the depressions. And I also lifted this. I don't remember what the proper name of that is. When I do the write-up, I'll put it in. I'll have to look it up on Rimmers in their drawings. But I lifted that, and that was just welded down pretty, not too difficultly to remove. But you can see all that rust that's behind there. Some pretty good pits. This one's probably almost all the way through. This one here is pretty bad, and then you got a couple over here, and unfortunately this one right here goes with this whole line. So there's some spot welds there. So I might just fill that in with weld bead, coat it, or prep it with that metal prep stuff to convert some of that rust and fill it back in with weld bead. But I think in here I might cut a little piece out. I'm not real sure. That's pretty tough in there. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do yet, but at the very least I'll get it cleaned up. I might just fill it all in. Anyway, we'll see. But that's where I stand. So the next thing I'm going to do, I think, is move along here, get that guy straightened out. I'm going to use the other side as a reference to try and get that reformed and get the creases out of there and then back in there to make it look like the other side does. get that tacked in, and then finish manufacturing the new piece. Obviously you can see this guy is just a little bit short of over there, but then we'll go from there. Check back in later. Just a quick update. It's 10:30. I'm gonna try to weld this little bottom of the B post back in again. If you remember a couple weeks ago, however long it's been, 2 weeks ago or so, I tried to weld it in and it was a horrible job. But in hindsight, it's probably a good thing that I didn't, because the floor fits outward a little bit further back here. So if I had welded it in, I might have had to done quite a bit of adjustment to get the thing seated. But you can see kind of here on that angle, hopefully anyway, the original part of the B post, which is right there, and how that's fitting up. So I'm going to essentially work my way from the top down, fitting it up, and then beating on what I need to beat on to get everything lined back up. And I got this clamp back here just to kind of try to keep the floor as flush with the heel board as I can. I haven't finished welding that in yet. But just a quick little update there to see how that's going. And kind of see from the other side here how that is. I'm going to change the flashlight batteries here, but we'll give that a shot. It's going to be tricky getting that welded to the heel board there. You can kind of see, I think, sneak it in between the gap there. You can kind of see the gap between the heel board and the B post. That should be pretty much flush. So that's going to take a little bit to fix and to figure that out. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. All right, 11:30, quick lunchtime update. Got that area there all cleaned up and primed up, ready for the new piece to go back in, which is sitting outside. You might take a little walk with me here. I got the bottom of the B post welded in. Better than last time. It might not look very pretty, but it's better than last time. Ground probably was it. I ground off a piece of the floor there so that I could get a good ground for the welder. The problem I'm going to have, however, is that big old gap. This here, that big old gap that I have back here. If you can see that, the light through there. Gonna have to take care of that, obviously. So, but moving along with that, I'll take you outside here real quick and show you the piece. There's the Garage Mates 240Z with no motor in it. The Garage Mates Lemon's car. My little guy, my little Honda Fit. And a B. But there's the piece. I knocked it out pretty well. Pretty happy with how that came out. So yeah. Got to put another coat on that on both areas. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to eat some lunch, and then I'll get back at it. All right, it's 1 o'clock. I got about another, just about 1 o'clock. Got about another hour or so here, hour and a half. I got that guy welded back in. Turn the light down a little bit so you can see it, and not too shabby. No, I'm kind of happy with that. Got this other piece getting ready to form up a little bit. Still got some adjustments there to make. And then I'll do this piece separately with another lip all the way out to here or so. But you know, slow progress. You can see there. Remember I told you I thought I had a hole. Oh, there it is. So I haven't quite decided how I'm going to approach that yet. If I'm just going to, that rib comes right here. If I just cut this out, or what there, some forming there because it's at an angle, and it's got just that little bit of the divot that's in here. It just starts to fade to nothing up here, so it gets a little bit of a formed piece there. But I'm really happy with the way this came out. This corner suffered the most as far as not being quite close, but everything else, that was just some hammer work and an anvil. So I'm pretty happy with it. So yeah, that's it. Moving along. Real quick, I wanted to document this. So this is one way to do it. I guess another way to do it would be to get the bottom A post fitted in. But I was concerned for the fit between the rim here, or the ledge, whatever you want to call it, of the outer sill, and the lip that I put on the replacement piece. So if you, and that's really cool. All the metal shavings from when I was grinding stuck to the magnet. Looks like a furry thing there. Anyway, if you look, you can see that my metal lip there is right flush with the ledge, and I think that's going to be good. Again, there's going to be another piece that goes underneath there with the lower A post, but that's going to go underneath that ledge. So, but that's the way that I came up with trying to make sure that my piece vertically was the right height, because since that lip was totally gone on the upper A post, I didn't really have anything to reference it to. So I think I'll try to throw up the lower A post here just to kind of see, but I'm still having problems with fitting that. So I may come back here in a sec. All right, it's about 10 after 2. Time for me to go home and get cleaned up, get ready for some soccer games. So what I did today was get this mostly welded in the bottom of the B post here, and tried to bang the existing metal there to kind of form and fit with the other one. Not too bad. I still have a piece to put in here for the inside portion of the bottom of the rear wing that fits underneath essentially this portion here as it sits in there. And I'm going to finish the welding up from this side, I think. Smack the bottom of the heel board in as flush as I can with the bottom of the B post there, and then the weld from this side to make it a little cleaner, and then seam seal the other side. So I got that done. Over here, a lot of work in this panel over here. Got that guy cleaned up. That transition, I don't even know why that kind of comes out like that. It's got to be some interference with the bonnet or something. I'm not sure. But got that all welded back in, cleaned up, and ground down, and that looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. Got the new bottom ledge there tacked in a couple spots. You'll note that I got this side kind of loose here, and it kind of moves. I'm doing that on purpose for right now, so that when I put this final piece in, and this is not the right piece because this is too small, but when I put that final piece in, I'll weld those two together and kind of make it all one joint. That way, just for bends or whatever like that in the metal, I don't have this locked down here and then I get a big gap. So I figured that would be potentially a better way to do it. So we'll see if that works or not. I did fit the lower A post up, and I still have all problems up in here with giving me enough room, and my light just died from the transition for the firewall or the bulkhead. So you can kind of see that it doesn't come down straight. I gotta figure that out up here. Obviously still got all that to work on. But I got this guy welded in. That actually went a little better than I thought it would. Not real easy to grind out here. I got to look into maybe a different tool or something for doing or look up how a more proper way to get squares or circles out. Maybe a bunch of drills, drilling a bunch of holes. But anyway, I overground obviously in some spots, so I filled, like there was a big gouge down here. I filled that in with weld, and that seemed to work out all right. And then this guy up here, I'll have to bend that back down and weld that into the bottom of the top of the A post here. Let me pause real quick and see if I can get this flashlight to work. Hold on. So I got some preservation to do under here. Listen to me, preservation, like I'm still in the Navy. Some painting in there. I'll get that cleaned up and get that ground down, and then primed up, and then essentially try to weld it right back the way that it was. And that was about the extent of my work tonight. So not too bad. I'm pretty happy for 5.5 hours of work or so with a lunch thrown in there. The only real trick that I've got over here is that I've got to finish out that divot. And shoot, I threw that piece of metal away. I got to get that back out of the trash. Essentially finish that divot up where it comes flat again like this. So that'll be a little tricky. But other than that, I haven't played with the passenger side at all, or excuse me, the driver's side at all. I don't really intend to do that in the foreseeable future. So for now, I'm concentrating on getting the passenger side taken care of and finished up, and that's it. So again, I'd like to remind everybody about the website, www.roundtailrestoration.com. Again, I'll put something in the description. I'll put a link in there, and I think that's about it. I'm up to 80 subscribers now. Pretty exciting. So thanks for subscribing. For those of you that are liking the channel, thank you for that too. And that's it. Hope you have a good rest of the weekend. Happy thoughts for the soccer game this afternoon, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Cheers.